Welcome back in, everybody. Welcome back to Morons and a Mic. It has been forever and an age since we last saw you, or since you last saw us, at least. Uh, I believe our last episode was in November of 2024, which, not surprisingly, was right before I started my new job. Because this is a hobby we picked up while I was unemployed. And I became employed, and we're just now trying to get back into it.
Yep,
So it's been a minute.
it has. I completed my master's degree, which was that was what was taking all my time at that point, and I'm done with it now.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
No more
I already
school.
I already
Woo!
had my master's degree in sports management, so you know, don't mean to toot my own horn, but no, it was just work. Um, I guess let's just get into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So first topic, obviously, uh, maybe the biggest news around football right now. Really wasn't that much of a surprise for any of us that know how quarterback battles go, especially when you're paying one of them $30+ million. Deshaun Watson is named the starter.
Yep.
How does it make you feel? We both know how we feel about Deshaun Watson as a person.
Yes. But I
That
have numbers.
aside, let's talk numbers and stats.
I got numbers. So for me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like if you're the Browns, it's been what, a half decade since Watson was an above average starting quarterback. He's torn his Achilles twice since then. He's had shoulder surgery. When you watch him the last couple of years, he's not a guy that's pushing the ball downfield. He's not the same guy that he was in Houston. He's older now. Like he's not like he is what he is, which is a very bad starting quarterback. In fact, just to put some numbers on it, right? I'm not going to get into like QBR and stuff, but somehow, some way, Deshaun Watson has had an average time to throw of 3.08 seconds since he joined the Browns. But when you combine that with his inability to push the ball down the field, you get sacks. And you don't have the explosive plays to make up for it because some quarterbacks, they can take sacks, but if they're hunting explosives and they're hitting those explosives, it kind of makes up for it in the long run, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, obviously, you want fewer sacks, but that's the trade-off. You hold the ball longer, you take more sacks, but you get more explosives, unless you're like Caleb Williams, some magician in the pocket, you know what I mean, where you can get out of it.
A Brock Purdy, if you will.
Yeah, or Brock Purdy, yeah. But he somehow has now managed to combine holding the ball forever with a super low ADOT. To put that into context, his ADOT, his average depth of target, was 3.8 yards in the preseason game. He went 5 for 12 in, by the way. So
That
typically
doesn't seem
low.
great.
It's not. It's really not. like Shedeur Sanders. Like I'm not. The Browns, I actually really love their skill position players. I love KCC. I love Fenn, and I love Boston. I actually kind of like what they did with the offensive line. I love Judkins. I thought he was great. But they are wasting this year with that skill group because like it is such a deeply unserious quarterback room. Like Sanders was a 5th round pick. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league as rookie.
And I don't even want to hear people talk about his Pro Bowl.
No, I mean it was.
I mean he went. Wait, what did he have? Like 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions.
Yeah, and you want to talk
completion percentage.
And you want to talk about a guy holding the ball forever? Sanders held the ball for on average 3.32 seconds, which is forever in the NFL. That was his average, 3.32 seconds.
I'm pretty sure Manning's already made like 10 reads in that time.
Yeah, he just I think Sanders would have the ability to be at least a competent quarterback. I don't think his physical abilities would ever let him be like good, right?
No.
But
no, I don't
if
think
he
anyone looks at him and says he's going to be a future superstar in the NFL.
No. But at the same time, if you're the Browns, why are you wasting your time with Watson, who is not going to be on the roster next year? And if he is, what are we doing here? And
they are who we thought they were.
Yeah, exactly.
I need that sound so I can play it for times like this where we go, the Browns. They are who we thought they were.
Yes.
Or I need to talk to that guy. There's a guy on TikTok that he does a bunch of Cleveland Browns videos where he goes, and we're the Cleveland Browns.
It's so
Punt.
fitting. It's
And
so true.
it's perfect. I
But
need to see if I can use his
here's
audio, but
here's
yeah.
the sad part for me. I'm a massive KCC guy. I had him from everything I saw and just my feelings about him as a player. He was closer to Carnell Tate than he was for wide receiver 3 for me. Like he was in like that same tier as Carnell Tate. I love KCC. And
Yeah.
that's not just like me talking. Um,
I mean, it
I
is,
have
but
him in 14 leagues. Out of the 19 I'm in, I have him in 14, and I'm trying to get him in the other ones too. So
yeah.
if you're in a league, uh, now is a great buy low opportunity because KCC, like if you look at the Browns infrastructure, they've got Todd Monken, who was a really good OC for the Ravens the last couple years, and Zay Flowers was used heavily. He was the guy getting all the fun like motiony touches. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they moved him around.
KCC is similar to Zay Flowers. He's bigger though. He's thicker. He's bigger. He's nice. That's what she said. Um, but, but now is a good time to buy low on all these Browns weapons because that offense is still going to be bad this year just because the quarterback is so bad. And if you want, this is kind of skipping ahead to a later thing,
Ooh, okay.
but I don't see
Preview.
how Taylen Green doesn't end up playing at least a couple games.
Yeah. Hey, here's my thoughts on that whole situation. Just like you said, we've seen what Deshaun Watson can do for the Cleveland Browns after all these injuries. Is not much. Why not go with the young guy who, yeah, he played quite a bit last year, but that was his rookie year. He's got another year under his belt. Let's see what he's got. Let's roll with the young guy. Let's go with youth over the veteran that we already know what he is, what he has to bring to the table. But like you said, I don't I don't know that Sanders would keep that starting job throughout the whole year.
No.
Um, and yeah, we'll leave that other part for later on in the show because
Well, it's like
I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to make the
no, he
roster out of
he
camp.
didn't even factor into the competition, which is a wasted third round pick. And I'm a huge Oregon fan. If I showed you guys,
I I don't know that I would call him like an Oregon quarterback.
I'm gonna claim him because he had a
That
great
was
year
like
for
his
us.
seventh year in college.
Doesn't matter. He had a great year for us, so I'm gonna go ahead and claim him. But the point is, even as an Oregon guy, the physical limitations they were always apparent, even in
Mm-hmm.
college. So I thought that he would be sixth or seventh round pick, something like that, just because again the physical limitations would present themselves even more in the NFL, where everybody's a freak athlete and runs a 4.4, 4.5. You have to have the arm strength to zip it in there. Even Purdy, like people wanted to compare him to Purdy because Purdy's arm out of Iowa State wasn't very good, but his arm got stronger in the NFL. Like that's why he went from
True.
being Mr. Irrelevant to being Brock Purdy. That and obviously, he has Kyle Shanahan, which helps a lot.
Yeah, a little off topic, but Brock Purdy the year before he was drafted was a far better quarterback prospect than he was the year he was drafted.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with him dropping to the seventh round. Whereas I think if, he was draft eligible the year before, he probably would have gone in the third or fourth. But that's just an opinion from somebody who talked about him on Reddit before the year before he was drafted and said, I want the Niners to pick this guy. And then the next year they picked him with the last pick in the draft. So
Great for your priors, though. What's happened is great for you.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I stake my whole reputation, my whole career on it right there. All right. Well, I think
Brock
we've talked
Purdy.
about the Browns enough for
More than the
now.
Browns have any right to be talked about. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, let's talk about some ankle injuries. We got Jeremiah Love. We got Ashton Jinty. Um, it looks like Love is probably not going to be ready for week one. High ankle sprain. I'm not so sure what the Raiders are doing. I watched the press conference today. I think it was today, uh, where Clint Kubiak was like, I'm not saying anything about injuries," and they kept asking him. He's like, "He's on the mend," and they'd ask him a different question.
Yeah.
He's on the mend, but where it is from Raiders camp that they think it's more of a low ankle sprain than a high ankle sprain, which would be good.
Yeah.
But Clint did not look happy, and he would not answer questions about it.
See,
I think
but
it has me a little
he
nervous.
might be one of those coaches that thinks that injuries are like a state secret. It's like the Chargers. They're basically never going to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh, nothing.
Oh, he was the same way with the Niners.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's
oh,
like
well,
all
we
these
don't know
college
who's
coaches
going to
too.
start this week.
What was it? Who was it that was like, we could all be dead in a week or whatever, or tomorrow? Was that
Oh,
Shanahan?
that was Shanahan. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I don't
right.
even know
That's right.
if any of us are going to be here next week.
Yeah.
What do you
It's like,
know
come on,
that we
man, it's
don't?
not that serious. Like, whatever. It's fine. It's
Or
all
just
good.
like,
Yeah, those. So with Love, uh, I don't think, because even if it's a 6 to 8 week injury, based on when it happened, he would only miss a couple weeks,
mhm,
right?
right.
And that's just one of those like he looked so good in those limited snaps. And here's the other thing is, are the Cardinals going to really be as bad as we think? I mean, they're not going to win a lot of games. I'm not saying that, but everybody seems to be talking about that offense like it's going to be the 32nd ranked offense in the league.
They have a lot of pieces
They
on
have
that
a
offense.
lot of
I think
pieces.
people forget how good Tyler Algier was before Bijan Robinson came along.
Well, not just him. They got Trey McBride, one of the best
Yeah,
tight ends in the league. They got Marvin
tight end
Harrison
one.
Jr. and Michael Wilson, both good receivers. Look, you can say what you want about Harrison, but
A
like
lot of drops.
it is a lot of drops,
A
but
lot
people
of
talk about him
drops.
like some bust. He's been a solid receiver. He just
Right.
has not been used in a way that maximizes his capability because him and Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray did not overlap in skill sets. Petzing wanted to attack the deep intermediate middle of the field, where Kyler just, it's a no-go for him. He doesn't throw it,
Right.
right? And that's Harrison's best route. Harrison did the, I don't know if you, everybody watching should definitely check out Matt Harmon, but he pointed this out that Harrison just stuck at X like 85% of the time. He was an on-ball X receiver, one of the highest rates in the league. And then they were having him run a bunch of vertical like shot play routes. He's not a burner. He's not going to stack guys on 9 routes and win there. It's just not his thing. Michael
Right.
Wilson showed an ability to play X as a rookie, but then they just stuck him at Z, and they never used those guys interchangeably. Well, LaFleur is going to do that. LaFleur is going to use those guys interchangeably. And we also saw when Brissett took over, Harrison was healthy for one game, and it was the Cowboys game where Harrison
Mhm.
had a great game. And in fairness, it was the Cowboys' terrible defense, but still, Brissett will let those throws rip, right? Like he's not a great quarterback, but he will let those throws rip. So, you know, I think the ship has sailed on Harrison ever being the guy that he was kind of billed, the generational prospect. But he's a good receiver.
I wouldn't say the ship has sailed there.
Uh,
He's still really young.
he is, but at the same time, like the meta receivers now are like yards after catch monsters, a lot of them.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not really. I mean, not that we would know because Drew Petzing's offense never got him in space. It was always sideline balls. So I don't know. Maybe he is.
Yeah. And it's not like Arizona quarterbacks really have a whole lot of time to throw the ball. So we'll see. I do have a hot, maybe lukewarm take coming up about the Cardinals a little later. So let's move on to another Cardinal, Trey Benson. Uh, I put it on my notes that he got cut because I really liked him last year
Yeah.
as a handcuff running back. Um, they cut him. He cleared waivers. He's back on
Yeah.
Arizona's IR, which means he's not going to play for Arizona this year.
No.
The deal is he'll probably have some sort of injury buyout
Yeah, the
and end
settlement.
up on somebody else's roster. But his knee injury, which was, I believe, a meniscus tear, happened week 4 last year. So realistically, he should be good to go.
Well, and it continued a long stretch of other knee issues,
Right.
like dating back to his college days.
Yeah,
You
another
know, like
Oregon
he
guy, by the
just,
way. Are you
yeah, I
claiming him
know.
too, or are you going to let Florida State have this one?
I mean, he never really appeared in games for Oregon. Like Dylan, he appeared in a playoff game for the Ducks.
That's fair.
Like, that's kind of different.
I
But
just don't know where your standard is, who you claim and who you don't. Anyways,
if they finish their career on Oregon, once a Duck, always a Duck. Look,
okay.
I'll claim Trey Benson, but I'm just saying that there's not really there's no memories involved with Trey Benson because he just didn't play for them enough. But, once a Duck, always a Duck. I want to cheer for my Ducks.
Right.
But
I just think if you got an IR spot open, he's somebody I would look to stash there.
I'm pretty much like, if you want to know what the league thought about him, they any of the other 31 teams could have put a claim in, and they did not.
Maybe I'm just sentimental like that. Liked him last year. I
I mean,
want him to get something.
if you have the open IR spot, like it doesn't hurt anything to stash him.
Right. Because,
But I would.
what if, the Raiders come calling? I don't know.
But we just talked about that. That's such a low ankle injury. It's almost a foot injury, right?
Yeah.
It's not a high ankle. It's almost even a foot because it's just so low.
Yeah. So, yeah, I said if you have an open IR spot, you can stash him. Otherwise, you can drop him. Unless you're in like a super duper deep, like 18 team league with deep benches where you're putting people on your bench that haven't played in 3 years.
Yeah, I'm in one of those leagues. Well, if it's a 14 team and it's a rebuild, so
Same.
you know.
I believe I'm in that league. All right, Carson Beck, another really digging into the Cardinals today. Carson Beck's ribs looks like he's back at light practice. Doesn't look like it's going to be too big of an issue. However, my hot and lukewarm take is that Beck is going to be the starting quarterback in Arizona by the middle of the season.
I don't think that's that hot a take because just like I said, they're not going to win a lot of games. They're in a brutal division. Their non-conference is also pretty rough. They drew the AFC West, so Cardinals' first game is against the Chargers, who everybody expects to be good. That means they also have to play the Chiefs and the Broncos. I'm pretty sure we can chalk up 3 L's there.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play the Seahawks twice. That's 2 more L's. They're going to play the Rams twice.
The Myles Garrett led Rams defense.
Yes. They're gonna play the Seahawks twice. 2
They'll
more
play the
L's.
Niners. They'll play the Niners twice, which means they'll probably split it, win one, lose one, because
Well, they
that's
play
what
the
happens
Niners
with
in
the Niners.
they play the Niners in week 18, so who knows if the Niners have any healthy players left. So they might lose that
It's
game.
true. They might
You
just
know.
have to play the substation itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like realistically, that's how many losses did we say? They're 9.
Yeah.
And that's not even accounting for the rest of their schedule. I'm curious about like a lot of the stuff that they have going on. I do like.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, they've
realistically,
got good skill players.
they're at a massive talent disadvantage to all of those teams
Mm-hmm.
and so many others. And it makes a lot of sense for them to figure out what they have in Beck. I don't think he's the long-term answer. I think they're going to draft somebody in 2027. It's a much better QB class. We kind of know what Carson Beck is.
Yeah.
I can't
I
see
wasn't
him being the
excited
answer.
with. I think there's a reason he stayed in college and went to Miami instead of coming out for the draft.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be
Um,
one of those guys that. Did you read the athletic profile? I think it was athletic,
no.
where because the NIL era, some of these college quarterbacks are actually taking a pay cut in the NFL
Makes
because
sense.
Riley Leonard and Will Howard were specifically mentioned because both were paid a lot of money in the transfer portal to go to Notre Dame and Ohio State respectively, but then they were both 6th-round picks in the NFL. and 6th-round picks don't make a lot of money. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they both took big pay cuts, not like little pay cuts, so big pay cuts
Yeah.
to go to the NFL.
Yeah. So I guess maybe not so much a hot take. Um,
No, I think that's pretty mild.
but let's keep on with the rookie quarterbacks. What are some of the rookie quarterbacks that you've been seeing in uh, just in camp and through the first couple preseason games that you're looking at, you're interested in?
So the only one that I'm interested in, aside from the obvious, which is Fernando Mendoza, who, like, everybody wants to talk about the pick six. I don't know. He threw late over the middle, sure, but Mike Washington probably should have stopped. Like, if you watch, that's probably what he was expecting Washington to do, was stop and sit that route, and then he didn't. So the guy undercut it. It was a great play by the defensive player. The rough part for me was like, hey, Fernando, maybe don't dive at the defender in the meaningless preseason game,
Yeah.
because I mean, that was a rough landing. It looked like he was going to break his collarbone or something, which would have just been terrible on all the levels. But the only other quarterback that I'm really interested in, because like I thought Ty Simpson, like he might not beat Stetson Bennett out for the backup job. I
He
mean,
didn't look. He didn't look terrible. He just
no,
didn't
but
look exciting.
it was a lot of like really short stuff, a lot of manufactured stuff. If he had to run that offense, like that was the training wheels of all training wheels offenses. Like that was not real football.
Yeah.
And I think the only one is the one that I mentioned earlier, Taylen Green of the Browns. Like I don't think he's anything, but he has the physical skill set that if he hit, he is that fantasy cheat code. I want him in every league I can get him
Yeah.
as like a
I mean,
cheap
he's got
throw in.
wheels.
He 4'3", I think, in the 40,
Yeah.
and he's huge. He's like 6'5", I think, 230, 240. Like he's not a small guy either. So, he also can throw the ball a country mile. It's just a question. He's going to have to develop as a quarterback, but we've seen unlikelier things happen. So if he gets a chance to play by the end of the year, he's so cheap in Dynasty right now. Your worst case is you get him and stick him on your bench. You hope that he looks great. Probably doesn't happen, but you're not exactly out very much to figure it out either.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario, you stash him and he turns out to be Anthony Richardson, and you just kind of sit there for a couple years and then drop him for somebody else
Yeah,
that you draft.
exactly.
Um,
Oh, I have a question for you
yeah,
because this show is a dynasty focused show. So, Ty Simpson, what do you think his dynasty value is right now? Like, if you had Ty Simpson, what is the no-brainer you'd accept for him? Like
like in a,
realistically,
in a trade,
yeah. Like what level, what round pick would you accept?
I'd take a third round pick.
A third.
Yeah,
See, I would take a second. It would take a second for me, but a second, I'm smashing accept, done.
yeah. No, I'm not excited about Ty Simpson. I'm
Oh,
really
I'm not
not.
either.
Um,
Not at all.
there are a couple guys that I'm more excited about. One of them is Kate Klubnik. I probably butchered his name,
Hey,
but
you got it close enough. I think
yeah,
we all know who you're talking about. Jets fourth round pick.
exactly. Yeah, 71% completion percentage so far this spring or this summer. It's not spring. Um, he looked okay, and the only person in front of him really is Geno Smith.
Who
So
looked good though in his one drive. So here's
it's
my
still
hot take
Geno
about the
Smith.
Jets. Are you ready for this?
Oh God, the
So
Jets going to
everybody,
be a playoff team.
no, no, not that hot a take. That's a nuclear level take. I think the Jets they've made themselves too competent this year,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be in position to draft the quarterback they want to draft in this next draft. There are so many terrible teams. I think the Jets are going to end up with like the sixth pick or something like that. Like they're still going to be
They'll have
bad,
to try to trade up to.
but the
I
problem
mean,
is
there's
the
a couple
teams
good
ahead of them.
quarterbacks coming out in the
There,
draft.
there are, but those quarterbacks go early. Look at the 2024 draft with Caleb Daniels and May.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Vikings tried hard to trade up for May at 3, but the Patriots said, "Nah, we're good. We need a quarterback." So if that's what happens here, and these quarterbacks are highly thought of, like right now, the two hot names, the hottest names are Arch Manning and Dante Moore. If
Right.
they come out and they have the years that people think they're going to have, they're going 1-2. Realistically, probably going 1-2, and then the draft will start at 3. Those teams aren't trading out of that spot, just like the Raiders didn't trade out of one this
Well,
year. So it doesn't
there
matter if
there
you have
is
three
that
first round
kid out
picks.
of North Texas that just went to OSU.
Yeah, Maker.
Yeah, Mr. Maker.
Yeah,
I could see him being a target at
but
six,
he might
seven,
not come
eight.
out because he's only going to be he's a redshirt sophomore this year. Wait, sorry, they've done away with the redshirt stuff. It's a 5 to play 5 now. So you got freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and fifth. As
Yeah,
they call it, just fifth. So he's technically a
five
junior now.
five.
Yeah, exactly. 5. So he's a junior, but
Out of respect
he
for Jaden Daniels, we're not going to call it 5 anymore.
that super then we'll just call it super, like super
Okay,
senior.
super senior.
But he's only started 1 year. He didn't start in high school. I read up on him. He didn't start in high school. He started 1 year at North Texas. So even if he has a great year, which I really like him, I think he
Mhm.
could. I think he's more likely a 2028 prospect.
So really, it's a race to see who gets Arch Manning, and then whoever doesn't get Arch Manning is going to get more.
That depends. So
But
again,
you're
as
an
an
Oregon
Oregon
guy, so unbiased opinion.
unbiased opinion, the Athletic had a poll out, and it was almost evenly split between Dante and Arch as the number one pick.
Hmm.
I think Arch has greater physical tools, and if he plays like he did the second half of last year, people had already kind of stopped paying attention to Texas at that point, but he was showing those physical tools
Yeah.
and had cleaned up a lot of stuff. Like he still has more to clean up, but if he continues to flash that ability, then he's the number one pick. I love Dante, but Arch just does things that you can't.
He's a Manning, so
But he's a Manning that runs a legitimate 4-4.
yeah.
Like that's
Well, they always
that's
said
rare.
Peyton and Eli always said that they were not the best football players in the family. All right,
Yeah, that's
that
true.
would have
And
been
that's their
what's his
brother
name?
Cooper, right?
Cooper.
Yeah.
Cooper Manning was the best one, but he had the injury
Yep.
that and couldn't keep playing.
Yeah, neck issue,
Speaking
I
of
believe.
Manning's, Peyton's son just started playing high school football.
Yeah, you want to feel old? Philip Rivers' son just got injured.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, he's got 9 more, so
that's true. He can still field most of an offense or defense depending on what he wants to do.
exactly. And you never know. Maybe he'll come out of retirement for another like 3 game span,
That's true.
just for shits and giggles. Uh, what
Gotta reset
about
that
what about
insurance money.
Jack Strand?
So Jack Strand's the Falcons are another one that somebody
It's a
mentioned this.
feel good story. I
It is
can't
a feel
help
good
but
story.
root for the guy because the only person, Michael Penix is probably going to win the starting job. But for
At
the
this
number
point,
2 spot, the only person in front of him is Tua, who's had too many concussions.
yeah, like the best part about the Falcons. I love that you had the sound queued up. That was good. The best part about the Falcons' whole quarterback competition this year, Penix just got cleared for 11 on 11 today or yesterday.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know if you're the Falcons, how can you name Tua the starter? He's
Yeah.
been so bad, and it's not like the reports out of camp are like glowing and then he just has a rough day during the preseason game or whatever. No, the camp
No.
reports are like the
The
same
camp
stuff.
reports are saying basically it's almost impossible for him to win the starting job at this point.
Yes.
And then you have somebody like Jack Strand out of Division Two Minnesota State Moorhead,
Yeah.
who goes for 212 with a passing and rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
He
I think
looked good.
he's a developmental
Genuinely
guy.
good.
I think because guys aren't like most defensive coordinators aren't throwing the kitchen sink at you.
Right.
But again, with Tua, the physical ability is just like gone. He
Yeah.
can't throw, he can't run, like it's gone. Why would you have him as a backup? He can't run an offense at this point because it's just so diminished that he just can't
And
do it.
there's so many weapons there in Atlanta. Well, they have a real
I mean, I
chance
don't
to.
think they have that many. They just have three really good ones. But
I'm
after
still a
that, it
Kyle
gets.
Pitts truther. So.
I was including him. That
Oh,
was
okay.
the third one. They have London, Bijan, and Pitts. But
Uh,
who aside from them?
it's the guy
If
that
you
went from the Bears
really
back to the Falcons. Was that
believe in Zachariah
Zach
Branch,
Zacchaeus?
Olamide Zacchaeus,
Yeah, yeah, that guy.
if that's your number two receiver, that's not great. They don't even have Darnell Mooney anymore. Mooney's in New
No,
York.
he's in New York,
Yeah.
and they just have an injury that we're going to talk about later. So Mooney should get some extra looks there.
But one quick note, if Penix is the quarterback, Drake London's back, baby. Drake London's back. I
I
was a
think
little
as long as
concerned.
anyone except Tua is the quarterback in Atlanta, Drake
That's true.
London is back.
Drake London's so damn good that it's like, as a coach, it's got to be the simplest thing. Hey, these other jokers, if it's not Bijan and it's not Pitts,
Mm-hmm.
it's just Drake London. Find him, throw it in his general vicinity, he'll make you right.
Okay, so take the quarterback out of the equation. Who would you rather have, Zay Flowers or Drake London?
But the quarterback is a huge part of the equation.
Right, but I'm talking skill-wise, just as the wide receiver. Who are
All
you
right,
taking?
I think Drake London is a more versatile player. I'm taking Drake London.
Fair
But
enough.
I think Zay Flowers might outscore him this year because
Well, yeah, I mean,
one of them has Lamar Jackson and the other one's got.
unless
We're getting
Jack
excited about
Strand
Jack
wins.
Strand.
Look, that is an A+ name too, Jack Strand.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
It is a fantastic name.
I'm gonna get a Strand jersey now.
Do it.
All right, moving.
I want to see you wearing
on.
it the next episode.
Oh God, no, I can't do that. Let's see. Kansas City's Jalen Royals played well. Looks like if I am really tired right
Yeah, it's late.
he'll probably get that wide receiver, and it looks like he's building up a rapport with Mahomes. I don't know that I would have him in a starting lineup this
I
year,
would not.
but it is somebody to watch and somebody to stash on your bench. Who else are you looking at in that range?
So I know everybody is, but I like Cyrus Allen
Okay.
because if you pay attention to the reception perception stuff, a lot of the Chiefs receivers can't beat man coverage, and that's one of the reasons that we've seen the Chiefs offense just feel so tough because they just man up. I mean, they're not scared of anybody now. Rashee Rice is a good zone beater.
Yeah.
He can't beat man coverage, and that's if he's on the dang field. He's only playing 10 games a year, Travis Kelce at this point, he's not somebody defenses are all that concerned about. Xavier Worthy is
he
like
hasn't been a
100.
man beater for a while.
I outweigh Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
That's
not hard.
No, it's not. But that's not a guy that, again, he has the great speed, but if you get hands on him, plays over.
Yeah.
So none of these guys beat man coverage. Mahomes is not going to run as much this year as he did last year because he's 30, he's coming off a torn ACL. Like, there's just no way he runs as much as he did last year when he set career highs in rushing yards and scramble rate and all this stuff because it was the only way that the Chiefs offense could move the ball at that point. Cyrus Allen can beat man coverage. And yeah, the hit rate on day 3 rookies is super low. So obviously if somebody offers you like a first round pick or something for Cyrus Allen, you take it, run, you take the profit. But more likely, like, you're going to end up probably sitting him for half a season before he really gets integrated into the offense because, again, he was a 5th round pick. The hit rate for day 3 rookies is super low, but I think he provides that offense, something that they don't currently have, which is the ability to beat man coverage.
Right. He's a little undersized, but that is
He is,
the
but he's
theme
not.
of the NFL wide receiver nowadays.
And he's not.
Not everyone's grabbing those 6'4", 6'5", 220-pound wide receivers that aren't all that fast, but you just toss it up to him and they come down with it. He's only 5'11", 180.
Yeah, but he's one like he's not tiny, tiny. He's not like
No, he's basically the same size as Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he's a guy out of the Eagles.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, thank you.
Smith is skinny though, but Smith is such a good
Smith is
player that
still
it just
Smith's
doesn't
still
matter.
about 175, 180, about the same size.
I don't know, man. I've seen like you see Smith. That guy is rail thin, but he's
Look,
so
I
good it just
don't
doesn't
know if you
matter.
can be a wide receiver in the NFL if you're like 160. I don't think
Tez
anybody's able
Johnson,
to do
baby,
it.
is 154.
Who?
Tez Johnson.
Who?
You know. Don't be like that. Don't be
All
like
right.
that.
How about Jaden Blue? How do you feel about
So
Jaden Blue? Are you a keeper? Do you think he's got a? You think he's RB2 in that offense in
I think
Dallas?
he's gonna bring explosiveness. I think he will get touches because that's the issue with Javonte Williams, who is still going to be the bell cow, but they need to up the explosiveness factor just a little bit. Not to
Right.
say Javonte can't do it, but he's just not that burner. But
No. He's
like
still a
Malik
good
Davis
running
isn't going to
back.
go away. Malik Davis left with the starters early in that game, or not starters, but like second string.
Mhm.
Jaden Blue was still out there with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like I, I know camp reports have been good, and it's good to see, because last year the reports on Blue were like it was all bad all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good that he's getting
Fumbling issues, all that stuff.
maturity issues.
Hmm.
So it's good that he's now seemingly on the right track, but it's still something that he's got some work to do to overcome it.
Right. A little bit on the flip side, you had somebody that everybody raved about in camp last year, got like 2 carries in his first game in game one with the Chiefs and was done shortly after. That's Carson Steele, who's now with the Eagles. Everybody raved about in training camp last year, played great in the preseason, came out in game one and just shit the bed with a fumble and never
Yeah,
made it back onto the field. Uh,
doghouse.
117 yards on 18 touches in the preseason game, even while it's against backups, is pretty good. Obviously, he's not going to supplant Saquon there,
Or Tank Bigsby. Like Bigsby
or
looks.
Tank, but there could be I mean, he's a fullback by trade, right? So
Yeah.
there could be the opportunity to get him on the field even with Tank or
See, but the problem for me there is that those guys just aren't fantasy relevant. Like Kyle Juszczyk is the best fullback in the game, but nobody uses him in fantasy football because
right. I'm just
he
talking
doesn't get
about for
enough.
like those 14 team deep leagues. If you need somebody that can get you 3 or 4 points, Carson Steele might be somebody to watch.
If you're scooping that deep, that's a problem.
I
But
mean,
yes,
I've seen your team in that 14 team league.
oh, it's so
You are
bad.
scooping that. You are scooping that deep, my guy.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully I get some picks next year.
All right. Any other skill position deep stashes for deep leagues that you're looking at?
Not really. I want to get to the next segment real quick, where the debate,
Okay. Let
quick
me let me
debate,
go
because
let me go quick through a couple of more injuries. Chuba Hubbard, they're talking about him being back week one, so that's good. Brees
yep,
Hall, Isaiah Davis, both on track for week one. George Kittle tore his Achilles in the playoffs and is in track to be available week one, possibly
yeah,
down in Aussie land, down under. Insane. I hope they don't play him, honestly. And Jaden Higgins, ACL tear, obviously big blow to Houston, but they did just trade for
Keyshawn Booty, yep.
booty. Rocking
But
everywhere.
they gave up so little for him that I think that like it's just like Nico Collins, that man might get 170 targets this year. He might just
I mean,
be.
who else is there to throw to? You
Jalen Noel
might take
looked
a
good.
flyer on Xavier Hutchinson.
I
But who?
wouldn't. Jalen Noel. Noel looked good in
Yeah,
his time out there. The coaching staff just, I don't know, they just view him as a slot only guy. But he looked good every time he got to actually play. But
yeah.
then
You
again,
just
they
kind of
were
already
playing.
know what you have with Hutchinson and Tank Dell, so it's not even worth.
Well, Dell is apparently not even close to play, like being back. So I don't know. The two devastating leg injuries. It's awesome that Dell is like coming back to a practice field, but
Yeah,
he's a long ways to go before he's ever quite Tank Dell again.
yeah, exactly. All right, I'll let you take it away for the next last part.
All right. So you want to introduce the question because I have notes here.
Which one you want to do? Are you trying to do both?
Uh, let's just do the second one.
The second one. Okay. Should managers treat Jeremiah Love's injury as a buying opportunity, or is paying elite RB prices for any running back before his first regular season snap fundamentally bad dynasty process?
So as with anything, it depends on the price, right? If
Right.
you're being asked to pay a price equivalent to what you would have to pay to get Puka, well, it's not worth it, right?
Right.
But if you're paying high prices, that is something I'm willing to do, especially for a guy who, like Love, looked awesome in those limited touches. Running back is one of those positions that it's such a physical and vision-based position. You can tell pretty quick if a guy's got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like Love has it to me. And not to mention, historically, if you get drafted in the top 10, you're going to be pretty freaking good at running back. So I actually looked it up, and I got my notes here. I'm going to read it off. The running backs drafted in the top 10 the last 12 years, full list, is obviously Jeremiah Love, Ashton Genty, who everybody said had a bad year last year, but he was like RB13 behind, in the worst situation imaginable.
Right.
I mean, like the Armageddon of situations for running backs, and he was still just outside the top 10.
That's the Raiders, baby.
Yeah, go Raiders. No, just kidding. Bijan Robinson, who, if you'd have traded a lot for it before his first game, you'd have been pretty happy with that. Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, who didn't quite live up to the hype, but he was still
No.
like a very usable player
Yeah.
in
Solid
fantasy football.
NFL career, but
Christian McCaffrey, Zeke
yeah, he's been
Elliott,
okay.
and Todd Gurley. So if you'd have paid up for any of those players, you're probably not upset about what you gave up.
No.
So
No.
I would
And
argue that before their first game, if you see it with them, then is the time to do it. Because once they've established themselves as elite players, the price is either going to continue to rise or they're just not going to be touchable.
right.
Like you go to your Bijan manager in the league, you're like, hey, what do you want for Bijan? Like, kindly lose my phone number. Like
Yeah.
it's near impossible to trade for those guys.
Agreed. And I agree with you on this. I do find it like if you can find somebody who will sell Love to you for less than he's worth or market value just because of this injury, I'd jump on it in a heartbeat. Sometimes it's better to trust the experts when every single one of them is talking about how he's a Bijan Robinson type elite prospect at running back. Get him or keep him if you have him.
Yep.
If
Now
they're all saying he's fantastic, listen to them.
I would say that there are situations. It depends on your league. It depends on your team. Like I had the 101 in a bunch of leagues this year because I took over a bunch of orphans last year and I just decided to do rebuilds with them. And in a couple of them, I did trade the Love pick because I'm just so far away from being a contending team that if I can get market value, I'm insulating myself against that injury risk, and it just makes sense to me. But there are other teams where I'm a lot closer. So obviously, Love means something to those teams.
Right. And I don't think that, I think that's where it comes in where your situation is different and where you have to look at it where your team is built. Are you within 3 years of contending? If not, it might be worth it to sell that running back. Is
Yep.
let's be honest, their shelf life is not great. Not everybody is Christian McCaffrey or um, Derrick Henry. You know,
Nobody's Derrick Henry.
nobody's Derrick Henry.
Nobody's Derrick Henry. That man's a monster.
But you just don't see longevity with running backs like you do with those two players.
No.
And I'm not saying Jeremiah Love is only going to be good for 3 or 4 years, but if your roster needs more help than just a running back, it might be worth it to move on if what you're getting back helps you in the long run.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in everyone has a price, right? In a league. It depends. For me, I like what am I trying to do? Am I rebuilding? That's going to dictate what I want. I want depth. I want more bites at the apple. I want more picks. I want more all those things to give myself as many chances to get high impact players as I can possibly get, right?
Mhm.
If I'm contending, then I'm going to want something different for, you know, love. But every player has a price. That's if you're playing Dynasty and you won't even talk a trade on a certain guy, why? See what's out there.
Let me ask you a question. How many trades have you made in the last week?
I don't know. It's it's not draft season, so it's not crazy, but
It's still more, probably double that of most people.
yeah,
I mean,
as I said,
you traded with me to get
yeah.
Boston, and then traded him away a day later after saying he was your guy.
So to be fair, I do love Boston, but then I traded because I wanted depth on that team. I had a ton of running backs. I didn't have that many receivers. I had four receivers that I felt like pretty solid about starting. I actually had Flowers, Olave, um, Odunze, and T Mac in that league. But once after that, it was like Shaheed.
Yeah.
It's not great. So I wanted Boston or somebody just as like a fifth or sixth receiver. But then I traded one of my running backs for JMO. So I was like, all right, well now I've got the receiver. I need to consolidate. I need to consolidate people because I had to cut a guy. I didn't really want to, but at that point it's like, all right, well let me get a. Somebody had asked about Boston after I got him from you. They're like, hey, what do you want for Boston? And it's like, I don't know. I just got him.
Yeah, make me an offer, I guess.
Yeah, like let's talk. And then, like
For the listeners out there who don't know Ted, uh, Teddy is a trade machine. This man literally wakes up every single day thinking, "What trade can I make today?"
yep.
And he will just. There is no off season for him.
No.
It does not exist.
No. I spam those offers. I spam messages. I'm not big on sending cold offers. I'll always send a message first, like, hey, I'm thinking about dealing for this player. What do you want? But, you can always tell the people that are trade addicts like me because they'll say, oh, I'm not sure, but if you make me an offer, we'll see. And sometimes it works. Like I was able to get in that 12 team that we're in together, the Victory Football.
Mhm.
I was able to get Justin Jefferson 2 years ago because that was when Rasheed Rice had first got hurt, and it was like game three. It was week 2 or 3. I had a really good team, and it was one of those where I was like, man, I would love to get Justin Jefferson. So even though he wasn't on the trade block, I hit up the Justin Jefferson manager, and he goes, yeah, it would take a lot. It's like, well, how close are we if I'm talking like Rasheed Rice, Rome Odunze, and a first round pick? And he was like, that'll do it. So I got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, well, at least he's got somewhat of a competent quarterback now.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
It can't be
Anyways,
worse than JJ.
no,
It
not
can't.
many are worth the, not many are worse than or than 9.
No, I always thought KOC could make any quarterback like a useful NFL player.
I think the Vikings thought the same thing when they let
Yep.
Darnold go.
And we were all proven wrong. So
Yeah,
that was cool. We found the bar.
yeah. I always thought JJ McCarthy was super overhyped coming out of Michigan, anyways. So
I did too, but again, KOC, I
yeah.
put my trust in him. I was like, yeah. I mean,
Again, there's a reason I don't work for an NFL franchise because I'm a moron.
yeah, same.
Anyways, that's all we got for tonight. We will be back next week for preseason when
Wait,
we.
I gotta show the viewers
Oh,
my
show your
shirt.
shirt. Show your shirt. Yeah.
Oh,
I almost almost win fantasy football. And then mine, I got to show mine too. OU baseball national champions. Boomer.
I'm not saying that.
I know
No.
you won't. That's okay.
Yeah, go Ducks.
Yeah. So for the rest of the preseason, we will do once a week. When the regular season starts, we'll try to go 2 a week.
Yeah,
Do a
we can do
Tuesday
it.
and Thursday show. So glad to
Keep it
have
to
you all
under an hour.
back. Glad to be back. And we'll see you next week.
Let's go.
Bye.